Comic character of the week. I am Sal. Today I've got Dan with me, and I've also got J Dub. So let's go into it. What character are we covering this week, guys?
Go ahead, Dan.
Superboy.
Wow.
Conner Kent.
This is your pick.
Right.
Yeah,
This was Dan's pick.
my favorite Superboy
Nice.
of the three iterations.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. So let's go a little information. Let's get a little business out of the way. I am Sal the Slab Guy. When I'm not on Codex, you can find me on YouTube as the other Sal's Comic Corner and on Instagram as the Slab Guy 77. Dan the Man Kelly, where can they find you guy at?
You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Just go give me a follow. I post a few days a week, and I just drew the winner of my 600 follower contest, which happened to be Sal. Because I was like, I drew his name, and I went, oh, it shouldn't be a Codex guy, so I drew another name. Oh, it's another Codex guy, so I drew another name. Oh, it's another Codex guy. Like, I guess this is the world telling me that it's going to be a Codex guy. So I'll start work on his thing soon. But then there's this guy, other way, right above me.
Over there, on this
I'm
side.
right
See, ladies and gentlemen, when to quote Tim, when the camera is mirrored, you have to point the opposite way of where you're facing on the screen. And I still have not mastered that.
Yeah. Takes time. Takes a lot of time to master, being as awesome as everybody else. But you know what I'm about to say. Guys, go check out the codexstation.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything Codex. Get some gear. Meet the team. Let us know what you like, don't like. And at the bottom is all of our socials, so that way you don't have an excuse not to find us and see all the great content that we are going to provide for you. And yes, Sal over here, whichever way. See, it even happens here. I do the swing motion. So if I screw up, I'm like, yeah.
Just looks like you're doing the dance.
Yeah. Check out the gear Sales got, represented today, but definitely go check out the website. Got a lot more going on with it, a lot more to do. So it's gonna be fun.
Excellent. We're still here in the pre-show, guys, and we're probably going to be starting in just about 3 or 4 minutes, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's new with you guys? You guys got any good plans for the weekend? The long weekend?
I gotta work, but other than the next 2 days, we got 2 more shows. And that's about it.
Okay.
It is my daughter's 5th birthday on Saturday.
Nice.
So
Happy birthday to her.
We're having some family members over for a cookout because she's been asking to have a cookout for a long time. So we're going to do that. I am going to take her to see the Mario Brothers movie again. Time, if she wants to go. So I'll probably be doing that tomorrow. And yeah, I guess I'll be hoping to find some time to work on some art too.
Is that the 4th time? Is that the the 4th time?
This will be the 4th time for it. And then I think the Little Mermaid comes out next week, but I don't really want to see that, so I'm not going to mention it.
Oh, I will as soon as she runs up to you. Hey, did you know Little Mermaid's coming out next week?
Little Mermaid.
She expressed interest in seeing the Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Verse movie when it comes out. So I'm going to wait and be like, hey, the Spider-Man movie's out. Let's go see that.
Yeah. Something else is coming out next week. So what's coming out June 5th? Some other good movies coming out.
Let's see. There was Into the Spider-Verse, The Flash. Come on,
The Flash.
The Flash.
Transformers.
Isn't The Flash in like 2 weeks, though?
Yeah. I think it's Transformers.
Yeah.
Transformers?
Because my buddy texted me earlier. He's like, what are you doing Saturday? I'm like, well, it's Emily's birthday. He goes, oh. I'm like, why? What's going on? He's like, I guess the base down near where he works is having a screening of The Flash Saturday. He's trying to get a ticket to go see. I was like, all right, well, I was like, let me know how it is. But I also have to preface with him, too, like, don't tell me anything about it because he'll be like, no, I just got to tell you about this one thing. It doesn't spoil anything. I'm like, no, don't tell me anything about it. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, where you would rank it and leave it at that.
Actually, Spider-Man comes out June 2nd.
What is?
Spider-Man is June 2nd. I thought there was something else.
I'm telling you, it's got to be Transformers.
I already saw something online that was a spoiler, a cameo spoiler for the Flash movie. I'm like, oh man, that sucks. That would have been cool to see in it. Thanks, internet. Like, and it wasn't
Hopefully-
even an article. It was the
June 9th is Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
June 9th. Okay.
it wasn't even in an article or anything like that. It was literally like the headline of the article was that, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Hopefully,
They
it's a
never
lie
are.
like that last one you saw. That last rumor
Yeah, I
that
hope
you saw.
so. On one hand, I hope so, but on the other hand, I'm like, it would be super cool if this is actually in it. So I kind of want it to be true.
I've seen so many rumors about that movie that it just makes me sick.
Okay.
Honestly, like it is. The movie's almost here. Just can we enjoy it when it comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be people trying to spoil it left and right.
Oh, you know
No
what I did?
spoilers, people.
I didn't think about it. You know what I did last night and this morning?
What?
I watched Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Was it good? I still haven't seen it.
Just you watch it. And then I watched Quantumania
Okay.
finally, and that was better than I expected.
Good. I like
I
Quantumania. I thought it was good.
Quantumania was good. I still like the first Ant-Man the best out of all three.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I like that this one. I thought this one should have won like the best visual effects and like costumes because it was awesome like to see.
Yeah.
And I
And
like
you talk to ants.
yeah, and you talk to ants. I wasn't a dick. It was the best line in the whole movie. I'm like that's just my spirit animal right there.
Yeah.
Like I thought MODOK was awesome. I could get over the CGI face thing, but I thought that was awesome to have him be it. I just like the funniest thing is when they picked him up and put him like when he's talking about like Kang and resurrecting him, and they pick him up by the head, and all you see is like the little butt with the big old head and the little feet kicking. I was just like, oh my god, like that's amazing.
But it reminds you of Deadpool, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking the entire time too. I was like, oh my god, he's doing it. He's walking.
Did you see that Deadpool 3 just started filming like a week ago?
Yeah, did you see Hugh Jackman back in shape for it?
Yeah, that guy was.
I am still working out, and I'm like, I just want to look like that.
You know, he was talking about it was in the second Wolverine movie. There was like one scene where he didn't have his shirt on, and when he was doing something in Japan, and they were asking him like how like his muscles were like pow, and they were asking him like, oh, how do you do that? And how do you do that? And he goes, oh, you can't drink any water, can't have any liquid in you for 24 hours before you film because it just like contracts your muscles onto that stuff. He's like,
the skin lays perfectly flat on top of the muscles. Then
he's like, I really wouldn't recommend it health wise, but it was really cool for that shot.
They say it's dangerous because you're dehydrating yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even what's his name? Henry Cavill said he's like, it gets hard because they were doing a scene on The Witcher, and he's like, you start off with 2 liters of water one day, go down to a liter, and then go down to none. He goes, by the time you're done shooting, you have the ability to smell water anywhere it's at. And I was just like, oh, that's cool.
I believe it. All right, guys, are we ready to start this show?
Yeah. Just checking one more thing, and we should be good to go.
Oh, Jamie, tell everybody where we're going to be streaming that next.
Ooh, right now.
Yes.
Honestly, right now, you can find us over on Kick Streaming. So if you guys want to just jump on over to Kick, join up, follow us, like us, whatever you can do to help the little podcast that could. We're trying to get on everywhere. But yeah, so far it's pretty cool. I like it. Can't wait for build more of a community through that. So awesome. a lot of learning curve here. I'll tell you
after this episode, I'll sign up for it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the check. So it's gonna be a good one. So yeah, We'll get started here.
Yep.
And we will see everybody in about a minute.
Man, I love that intro. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week. Tonight, we got a great character on tap for you guys, but first, you guys know me. I'm Sal the Slab Guy. I'm on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner and the Slab Guy 77 on Instagram. And as always, with me, I've got Dan the Man Kelly. Dan, give us a shout and tell us where you're at.
You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. I post a few times a week, so go give me a like or a follow. Yeah, a follow and like some stuff, and just join all the fun. And then right above me, this way, we got the man in blue.
Yes, guys, you know what I'm about to say. Go check out the codexstation.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything Codex. Get some merch, meet the team. Let us know what you like and don't like. And find all of our socials down at the bottom so you have no excuse not to miss out on any of the content that we're putting out for you, because it is a lot on a weekly basis. So go check it out. We also have this fancy thing now called Patreon. So if you just scan a little QR code there in the corner for a cheap cup of coffee, you can join our Patreon and get exclusive videos and other accolades that we are providing for you. There's 2 different tiers. Definitely check it out. Let us know. Anything helps a little podcast that could. So thank you in advance. And who is it that we are covering today?
Dan, why don't you go ahead and take it away on this one?
It is Superboy Conner Kent.
Nice.
He was first introduced in June 1993 in Adventures of Superman number 500. Right after the death of Superman, when they had the 4 new Superman characters. He was created by Carl Kessel and Tom Grummett. His origin is that he is a clone that combined the DNA of Superman and Lex Luthor and was created by Cadmus Labs to be a replacement for Superman, but he was freed from the incubation chamber he was in before he got to reach fully mature age, so he was left as a teenager and went out into the world. As far as powers, he's got really all the same ones that Superman has: the flight, super strength, invulnerability, like all the vision powers, the electromagnetic spectrum stuff, telescopic, heat ray, X-ray, infrared, super speed, super breath, super hearing, longevity. Like, he's got all the stuff Superman has, and he's got this thing called tactile telekinesis, which is originally what gave him all of his powers to mimic Superman's powers. And then when he actually developed the Kryptonian powers, he just had this in addition to it. So he is a powerhouse.
Can you give us a little more details on the tactile telekinesis?
So it has a lot of uses. So originally it was he could use that to kind of mimic super strength by picking anything up, because he would extend it to whatever he was touching. He would also be able to use it for flight.
There
you go. Use it for that. He can use it for stuff like making shields. Anything that he touches is tactile. So it's, anything he touches, he can like touch something and just kind of break it apart. He can make have a shield extend around somebody else, whether he's touching them or if he's touching the ground and they're touching the ground near him, he can extend it that way. So there's many different uses for it. So it's an extremely powerful tool. That
depending on the writer.
Yeah. So like if he fully develops power levels for all the Kryptonian stuff at the same level as Superman, and then has this on top of it, I mean, that makes him a pretty tough guy to beat.
All right, very good. Thanks for that detail on that.
Sir.
All right, so before we jump into anything on here, let's check out our sponsor, W Energy Drink. You can go check them out at WGG, and if you use the word Codex, that's COD-X, you can save 10% on an order. We've all ordered here at the Codex Station. We've all had some. We've all loved them, at least most of the drinks that we have had. I didn't like the Blue Raz that much, but that's okay. I love
the Blue Raz.
He loves Blue Raz. Yep, Dan didn't like the Dragonade, so they've got so many flavors. So go check them out. You got to try them. It's a good, clean energy drink. There's no jitters. There's no crash. There's no nasty aftertaste that usually drinks have. But definitely go to WGG, use the word Codex, COD-X, and save 10%. Look at that. Jamie's already knocking some back already. Look at that.
Need it for the day.
All right, so let's jump into this, guys. Let's go with scenarios of what works best for this character. And Jamie, why don't you kick us off for that?
Okay. So there's two sides to this. Obviously, we're gonna have
Oh,
critiques, but
yes.
what I think works best for Superboy is the fact of when he's incorporated with the team. When he's doing anything by himself, I don't think anyone knows really what to do with him. So it kind of hurts the character in the long, almost like the long scheme of things. If you're looking long term, there's no way to put him by himself unless you have someone that really wants to write him by himself. If you have him on a team, it's amazing. So Titans, Young Justice, whatever a team might be, if he's a part of it, it always adds well and adds into the factor of making Superboy greater than he is and seeing new leaps and heights that he can make as a character rather than just be stagnant and held back.
Cool. Awesome. Dan, what about you? What do you think works best?
Yeah, I mean, I like his solo adventures. I'm, a big fan, but I agree. I think even though I like his solo books, he does work better on a team when he's the powerhouse of the team. Like there was, in Young Justice, but especially in Teen Titans, like he would be the kind of heavy hitter, because he is just, ridiculously, overpowered, like Superman is, but even to a higher extent at times. And so I like seeing him as that powerhouse, and I also like that you see him from when his character was introduced, and then you see him going through his series, and then Young Justice, and then Teen Titans, and you see him having organic growth as a character to when he was first introduced was kind of snotty and annoying, and like actually grew up. And it's there's not a lot of characters in comics that fully mature over time like that. Like they may change over the years some, but not to the extent that he has. So I really like seeing him grow into kind of being the Superman of his generation and being unsure of himself, but accepting that. And so what about you, Sal? What is it that you like about him?
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with both of you guys on solid points on both. He needs to be on a team. I do not see him as a good solo character, and he is definitely, like you said, Dan, a powerhouse. He's the puncher. Oh, go hit this guy. Superboy's your
hit first, ask questions later, baby.
There you go. So definitely, and also I did like what you said, Dan, about the organic growth of the character, because I thought he was annoying when he first came out in Adventures of Superman, and that was one of my critiques, which we'll get into later. And so seeing this growth of the character overall, I think has been what's working best for him. So other than that, we got badass moments. So we all have badass moments, but I think Dan has the most badass moments. So why don't you kick us off, Dan, and give us yours?
I will start off with Superboy issue 84. There was a kind of a gang war going on in LA, and he really he got sick of it because it was at the end of the issue. He'd been having a big battle throughout it, and he just got upset and lost his cool and unleashed his tactile telekinesis, and reaching out through the ground to LA, destroyed every gun that was in LA, just blew them all apart, just from getting angry and unwittingly throwing his power out like that. So
every gun in LA.
Yeah, when you think about the amount of guns in LA and and the size of the city, to do that like unknowingly without focusing on it shows the power level he has. The second one I have is after he was killed at Infinite Crisis. He was dead for about a year, and when they did Final Crisis, he was brought back in the Legion of Three Worlds miniseries, and it takes place in the future where it was Superman and the Legion of Superheroes from three different realities that were all teaming up to fight Superboy Prime, who was still kicking around then and gotten released from the prison that he'd been in essentially for 1,000 years, and goes and collects some of the worst villains that were villains of the Legion, and decides to go after him. And 3 legions, like I said, from 3 different realities go after him, and he is just tearing through them like tissue paper. And even with Superman, and nobody is able to do anything, and he's just laughing off everything, killing a Green Lantern, like killing all of these. And
why does it always got to be a Green Lantern?
I know.
Every time someone kills somebody off, it's a Green Lantern. It just pisses me off.
He killed off a lot of Legionnaires from these 3 different realities. And they revived Superboy because they showed that after he was killed, he was put in that same like hibernation chamber Superman was put in after he died. But because he was half human and half Kryptonian, it took longer, 1,000 years for him to come back. And when he was brought back, he shows up to fight Superboy Prime, who up to this point had laughed at everybody and just tearing through him. And when Superboy Conner Kent shows up, Prime actually got scared, and Connor just really just showed up and just started beating the brakes off of him. And I thought that was impressive because, like I said, he torn through all of these major power heroes like they were nothing.
Right.
So it was a pretty cool fight to see. Then the last one I have is from Blackest Night, Superman #3. Psycho Pirate had controlled a bunch of characters, or a bunch of people in Metropolis, or not Metropolis, in Smallville. Had taken control of a bunch of them because of the Medusa mask, and had brought all of these other characters back with the Black Lantern rings, like an alternate version of Superman in this. And he took control of Superboy, who ended up being able to break free from his control, stole the Medusa mask, and used it to free everyone in Smallville from Psycho Pirate's control, and ended the threat of the Black Lanterns because they all the ones there lost their rings and went back to being corpses.
Nice.
So those are the 3 I've got. What about you, Sal? What do you have?
All right. For my 3 badass moments, I got the first one I have is in Reign of the Superman, where he showed up and started duking it out with Vindicator at the time. I think this is when Cyborg Superman just kind of really, revealed that he's the evil one, and Vindicator. Oh, hello.
I was like, "There's a ghost in Sal's basement."
Hello. All right, so I think Cyborg Superman at this point had just became or revealed his evil plan to kill everybody, right? And Vindicator showed up, and of course, him being the annoying teenager brat, which I'll get to later, they all started duking it out. But it was him and Vindicator just going left and right, which was just an awesome scene to see. And then also a part of this story in Superman 504, Cyborg Superman had launched a missile destroyed Metropolis, much like how they destroyed Coastal City. And he actually Coast City, sorry, Coastal Coast. And he actually.
I want your Green Lantern card right now.
Oh, really?
You
really?
Take that sign off your back wall.
Yeah, right now,
Mr. Emo. You really want to challenge me?
Listen,
Emo?
listen,
Bandana, Mr. Bandana. Yeah.
What was it? Bully McGuire here doesn't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Son, just don't.
Yeah. It's really worth it.
Moving on. So he deflected the missile that was going to Coast, like the one that went to Coast City, that was actually heading to Metropolis, which I thought was a pretty badass scene. And then for my last one I've got, he was actually fighting this one character called Amanda Spence. I don't know if she had actually a superhero or super villain name, but essentially she became mostly a cyborg. And she had just killed, I guess, one of his friends or one of his partners or a person on the space station. And he just lost it. And he she started bragging how she was she can't die. She doesn't need to breathe. She doesn't need anything. And so he just kind of blew her out the airlock into deep space. See ya. Good luck with that one.
Okay.
So that's what I have for my 3
Amanda
badass
Spence.
moments.
She
Yes.
is a cybernetic enhancement, sustainable, superhuman durability, superhuman strength, metamorphosis. Yeah, force field, and has electroblast.
There you go.
And
But does she
totally
have a
fucking
super
space.
villain name?
She just goes by.
Amanda Spence.
Yeah,
Frightening.
there's no. Ooh, she was
Yeah,
created
see?
by Ron Mars.
Nice.
Sorry.
Hey, yeah. Blast her out the airlock.
Completion
Pretty
Ron
badass
Mars.
moment. All right, Jamie, what do you got for badass moments?
So I have Superboy basically taking Superboy's body and slamming him through the tower in Infinite Crisis #6. That was a cool moment. I've got two of Dan's, and that had to be the gang war where they took away all the guns, and then him fighting off, the Legion, and that to me that's just perfect right there for badass moments. I don't know. Anytime you guys kill a Green Lantern, I kind of get salty about it, but
Salty.
because there's always a Green Lantern that has to die.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Well,
Unless your
in
name
because
is
there's so
Simon
many of
Baz.
in the Legion one, not only was it a Green Lantern, it was the last Green
Yes.
Lantern. Well, though there was one more that was on the planet who then at the end of the storyline is like, I'm going to revive the core and I'm going to send all of these rings out into space. And it's like, why did you wait this long?
Yeah. It's kind of like the Kyle Rayner syndrome where it's like, why did we take so long to do this?
Yeah.
Right. All right. So for every good badass moment, we also have critiques or criticisms of what we don't like about this character. I'll start off with this one, and I just never see him as a leader. Like, for more of a Superman clone or Superman want to be, I wouldn't say want to be, but I'll say clone. You would expect him to be more like have leadership quality, and I don't see that in him. And when he first came out, he was that annoying teenager, with too much power to that was for his own good. He was bigger than his britches, as you might say, as an old guy would say. So I didn't like that, and I understand where it is now, having seen the whole story and take effect. So I kind of understand it, but that's what I didn't like about it. How about you, Dan? What about you?
The two things that I don't like most is I think everything with him has gotten a bit too convoluted since New 52. Because everything was before that, he died in Infinite Crisis. He was gone for a long time. You saw the profound effect that it had on the other characters. Like Wonder Girl, who was dating him, like she changed her costume to mimic somewhat what he was wearing, where he wore the black Superman shirt and the jeans. She started wearing jeans to honor him. Tim Drake Robin went off and became Red Robin, and the Titans kind of splintered some. And then when he comes back, and it's some really good stories, but then when they did New 52, they completely changed who he was and made him like a different character. It was Superboy, but it wasn't Conner Kent. I think it was John Kent, like a future alternate child of Superman.
But it's still the same lore as what it would have been if it was Conner.
But that was the point, because when they changed it, and they changed a lot about the character for that, and then when they did Rebirth, he just wasn't there for a long time, and then they brought him back in the Young Justice series that Bendis did, but it wasn't the same Superboy. And I read that whole series, and I've been reading the new Superboy series and his stuff in Superman, and it just hasn't become super clear exactly who this Conner Kent is, but it's I don't know that it's the one that we had before, but I don't know that it's not. So
Right.
I think it's kind of become confusing and convoluted since then. And I also think that they don't really make use of his tactile telekinesis enough. Like the new series, they're starting to have him actually use it a lot, but for the longest time, they just had him using the Kryptonian powers, and I think it's because writers didn't really know exactly how to handle that power set. So they just
What they knew.
Yeah, so they just didn't. So it's a cool power. I'm glad they're starting to actually use that again.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, do you feel a reboot is going to happen again with them?
They already did.
They already did.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
brought
another
him,
one.
like I said, they brought him back in the Young Justice series that Bendis tried to do that didn't last.
Yeah, the young animal line that he tried to make a publication of.
Yeah, that failed miserably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, like I said, it's not super clear if he's the Superboy that was around pre New 52 or if he's just a different iteration of that character, and they haven't done a great job of clearing it up exactly. Like, I think it's him, but there's also things that kind of point to it not being him.
A clone of a clone of a clone.
Of a clone.
All right, Jamie, what do you got then for? I'm sorry, Dan, are you done?
No, I was just gonna say, I want to see what Jamie's got.
Yeah. Mine's easy. We were talking about how he works best in teams. The one thing I can't stand, and I don't know why, but it bothers me so much, is that why is he not more involved with the Superman family? Like, how come? It makes zero. We already got past the daddy issues of Lex Luthor and Superman being, his dad. Like, that's what he's made from. That's his genetics. Why isn't he a prime player with them at all times?
Yeah,
is my problem. And you could look at stuff like Reign of Superman or any of the crises that are going on when it becomes more involved with him. But it, to me, is just like, why are we only using it for events? Why are we only using him being part of the family, when the chips are down? Why isn't he part of the family when everything's good and we're just, fighting random villains of the week?
Do you want to go out to the ball game and get a hot dog together or something?
Serious. I would.
I mean,
sit in the Kent farm and just talk about life with the dude. Like, he is your technical son at that point. Like, you have no other way around it.
Well, Superman has said multiple times in the books that he considers him to be his brother.
Yeah.
And then I get the thing, like in the new series where he feels like, oh, well, now John Kent's here, kind of feels like he's taking his place. Like, but you were there first. You're technically more powerful. And I agree. Like, I really miss the stuff with him, how they built the friendship between him and Tim Drake and Impulse. And that's just like not used at all anymore.
Well, they did the Dark Crisis Young Justice.
Yeah.
And with him, he had him and Impulse with him.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing storyline. Like, I thought it was cool, like how they did it and played it off in a great way. But it's just, he wasn't part of the Superman family still. Like, it bothers me so much when you're part of a family and you're like in a family that's like, we stick together, and you're never there and you're never stuck together. To me, it's a problem. It needs to be adjusted.
I could agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
It's like having Wally West and being like, yeah, he's part of the Flash family, but you'll never see him part of the Flash family.
Yeah.
Like, he just shows up when, we need to, I don't know, reverse time. That's it.
We're having another final crisis.
Yeah,
crisis number 16.
Yeah, we're having another crisis.
The next DC crossover, Final Crisis in parentheses. We mean it this time. This really is the last one.
Yeah.
Unless
we really mean it. All right, guys.
The end crisis. This is actually the last crisis. Now we're using to call it crises.
Get DC on the phone. Yeah. We got to change it up.
Jim Lee, hit me up if you need me.
Yes. All right, guys. So next up is top covers. These are covers that we figure are really cool or really badass or even part of good stories. So, Jamie, why don't you start off with your top covers for us?
Of course. So
there we go.
All of mine are either issue 0 or issue number 1 because I don't know why. Every time I look at them, they're amazing. But we have the new and current line of Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow, issue number 1. I like this. I don't know why I do, but it's just that arrogance and It's like he's got to walk. It looks like he's got to like walk sideways through a door to fit his ego.
Yeah.
And there's something about that I just like.
It kind of reminds me of Vanilla Ice.
And we're done for today's episode. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up. No, and then the next two is basic to me. It feels like a reiteration of the same issue, but with a more modern feel. So you have issue 0, Superboy, and that's basically him punching to me through the panel, through the wall.
Yeah.
And then you have issue 1 of Superboy from New 52 with the updated everything.
Yeah.
Doing the same exact thing. And I don't know why, but I am a fanboy when it comes to those kind of covers. It's literally almost the same exact pose except mirrored, in a sense.
Yeah. Still pretty classic. Pretty classic.
Yes. You got the classic and the new. I mean, this is generations right here.
Yeah. All right, Dan, what do you got for top covers?
So the one on the end where he's pointing at his back, that is from Adventures of Superman 501. It's the one where they did when they had right after Superman died, and they had all the new ones that popped up, and it was a die cut cover where the cover would be all red, and you would only be able to see the Superman logo on it, and then have the logo of the book at the top, and then you open it up, and then you see the picture there. And I just thought that picture is such a good example of the attitude of the character as he was at that time, where he was kind of pointing at the symbol on his back with that kind of arrogant look on his face. And then the middle one, I have Adventure Comics #1. I thought that was great. First of all, it's him in the costume that I like best that he wears, just the blue jeans and the black Superman shirt, and he's flying up, and then it's got the Superman on one side kind of looking up, and on the other side it's the other part of the person that created him, the Lex Luthor, who's kind of looking down at the kryptonite, and it shows the two different facets of him, which is also a major part of that series too, him trying to reconcile the two. And then on the end, the Superboy annual #1, the Elseworld. It's just it's a really cool Elseworld story that was a 2-parter. That was the second part. The first part was Adventures of Superman annual #6 from the year that DC did all their annuals as Elseworld books. And like I said, it's a really cool story, and I like the cover. How even though you got Superman, Wonder Woman, and Flash, and Green Lantern, and all them, and Batman there, like he's the one that's dead center, flying at you, like he's leading,
ready to punch.
Yeah. Like all of the other major characters are secondary. It's him right in the foreground coming at you. So what about you? Cool. What covers do you have?
All right, there we go. So I've got Adventures of Superman on 2 of them, and they're both out of the reign of Superman. The one on the far left, I believe it was I can't remember the number on that one. Was it 503?
501.
Is it 501?
503.
Well, the one all the way on the left, like screen left.
Yeah,
501.
501. That's right, because the screen right's 503.
Yeah.
So this is like this Truth, Justice, and like My Way. It kind of portrays the attitude, and you can see like this hand smoking, like he just carved that out on the wall. So I kind of like that. That was pretty wicked cover. The Superboy one, #1 in the middle, with him flying up into the air. This is I kind of consider this like the classic Superman type of flying pose. He's optimistic. You know how Superman is. He's just always looking at the bright side. He's always being positive. And when he flies, you can see that. And this is what I see in this cover. So, and that's why I liked it. The one on the far right, Adventures of Superman 503. This relates to the badass moment where I was telling you he was duking it out with Vindicator, and Cyborg Superman has him by the throat. He's got his, the other hands up like he's just firing off his gun, and they're just going to town on each other. This is just a great fight scene around, and it was just a badass cover for me. So
awesome.
All right, but you know what though? With all these top cover, all these badass covers, people are going to ask, where can I find these covers? Where can I go get books with awesome covers? And I know that just the place for you guys to go.
Where can
You
we
got to
go?
go to you got to go to heroescornercomics.com and check them out. If you go over there and check them out and use the word Codex, CODEX, no hyphen, you can save 20% on that order. Now, Jamie, what can they find over there?
Comics. No.
Good answer. Good
Yeah.
answer.
No, but you can set up a pull list with them. You can find back issues, Heroes
Mhm.
Corner Comics exclusives,
Yep.
slabs, and so much more. You can set up a subscription with them. Makes it
Yes.
easier.
Mhm.
Everybody there is nice. Everything's super packaged well. Go check out the sales page if you guys want more in-depth content on that. Look at ours if you just want to see what they send. But they do also have a Codex bundle that's 3 Heroes Corner Comics exclusives for $30. And yes, the keyword does work on that, so you save 20% on that as well.
Definitely, guys, check them out. We all highly recommend them. So
Yes.
definitely check them out. All right, so now let's get on to essential readings. And these are readings now that we feel that, if you wanted to pick up Superboy, like you've never seen Superboy or never read Superboy, or maybe you just wanted to find something different. These are ones that we recommend that we say, hey, these really stick out to me. You got to read this if you want to check out Superboy. So Dan, why don't you start off with your essential readings?
All right. So first up, I have Young Justice, Sins of Youth. Honestly, read the entire Young Justice series. I originally was going to put that on there. It's like tier 60 issues, but I should narrow it down to one storyline. So I narrowed it down to Sins of Youth, which was where there was a spell cast that made all of the adult heroes in the DC universe into kids and teenagers, and it made all of the younger teenage heroes like the Young Justice and Titans. It made them all adults, and you got to see the role reversals. And Superboy, because he had something with him where he was not able to age, everybody around him became an adult except for him. And then something happens, and he was able to age. He got to be the adult Superman, and then team up with the Superman that was now, moved into being a teenager. So you got to see a pretty cool dichotomy between the two. But honestly, read the entire Young Justice series by Peter David and Todd Nauck. It is absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
Second, I've got Teen Titans, Titans Tomorrow. Again, read the whole Teen Titans series. It's 100 issues. But I
just read it all.
Just read it all.
Just read everything, and you'll be good.
I didn't think I should list all that, so I picked the storyline Titans Tomorrow, where the Teen Titans of the future, is 10 years in the future. They come back in time, and you see Superboy has become Superman. Tim Drake's Robin. Tim Drake has become Batman. Wonder Girl has become Wonder Woman. And you see all of them as they've aged. Beast Boy has become something pretty horrible.
Peace Man.
And you see them having to fight against these counterparts of theirs from the future who kind of have taken a more authoritarian stance and a harder stance in the way they deal with things, and and trying to fight against becoming that. But that's a really fantastic story. And then I've got Adventure Comics 1 through 3. It's really 1 through 3, and then issues like 5 and 6. But
just read it all.
Yeah,
just read it all.
It's only 10 issue series, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's a series that picks up right after he's brought back to life, and he's trying to find his way in the world. So he goes back to live with Ma Kent at the farm in Smallville, and he starts going to high school, and he's like keeping a little journal where it's things that Superman had done, and he's trying to check stuff off of that, and then also things Lex Luthor had done, and he's trying to make sure he doesn't become like Luthor. And you see him reconnecting with Wonder Girl and reconnecting with Tim Drake, and it's just some really great stuff as you see him trying to find his way in the world again after he's been gone for so long. So
nice.
What do you have for your recommended reading, Jamie?
Yeah, so I got Teen Titans, A Kid's Game, this is that split right then and there with it's not really centralized around Superboy. Like Dan said, just read the whole thing, you understand. But no, it really does show that split and struggle between him dealing with Lex Luthor and Superman being his code, basically, to get through everything. Next up, I have Superboy, Man of Tomorrow, which is the current series going on right now. It's only in issue 2, but I'm really digging it. Really liking it. It feels like it's back to old school. And like you said earlier, Dan, they're really working with his tactile telekinesis, which is something that you don't see much. Everyone's still trying to understand what tactile telekinesis is, and I think the writers don't even know half the time what tactile telekinesis is. Say that 3 times fast.
I don't think Jamie could say that.
Oh my! With how I've been under the weather lately, that was hard just to get through. But lastly, I got Superboy 83 through 88, and I think this is the one you brought up earlier too, Dan. But it's just amazing to see the artwork on this one, and he's working with like a cavalcade of characters. It's great to see him interacting with characters that aren't on, like Teen Titans or Young Justice or anything else. So if I was going to pick 3 to try, I would go with those 3. Plus, like I said, the current series just started, so you can kind of get a jumping on point there.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Sal, what about you?
All right. So I'm going to change mine to say just read everything.
Yeah, just read it all.
Just going to read it all.
Read every book he's ever been in.
Yeah, just if there's a book in it, just pick it up and read it. Mm-hmm. So I chose the Trouble in Paradise. He's this is right after the reign of Superman. He goes out on his own. He sets up base in Hawaii and starts going through his ventures there. And what I like about this one is that it's when he starts to build up his own rogues gallery, King Shark is part of them. So it's definitely a good series to read.
King Shark is a shark?
King Shark is a shark, and he's king, believe it or not. So next one up is Incubation. This came out in 2011 with the 2014, I believe. And this is kind of like takes Superboy when he's in the lab from the Project Nowhere, I believe. And the scientists just thought he was just an experiment and a failed one. But then he's like, starts, becoming more aware and stuff like that and showing off more of his powers. So I think it was pretty cool with that. Scott Lobel did this one, and it's part of the New 52. I think this is the first of the New 52.
Yeah, it is. And Lodell, not to cut you off, but Lodell did amazing work throughout New 52. If any of you guys don't have it, didn't have a chance of reading any of it, check out any of his work.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's a very underrated writer.
Yes.
I agree. And this particular series goes through issues 1 through 7. So definitely check that out. And my next one is Paradox. This was after the crossover event from Forever Evil, and Superboy and the Teen Titans become stranded in the future with no viable way home, and they've got to work that out. But I thought that story overall was really cool. It wasn't too many issues. It was number 26 to 34, I believe. And you should definitely check that out. I think it was a good story. So that's what I have for top covers, and I got another visitor. Hi there.
Another ghost coming in.
Yep. I just figured out where I'm at. Okay, so after all these stories, we've got our best artist and best author. And now, guys, these are ones that when we think of Superboy, this is the artist and author that we go to. They don't necessarily have to match up or line up with the stories, but these we feel are the best ones for us. So, Jamie, why don't you kick us off with this one?
Yeah, for writer, hands down, got to go with Jeff Johns. If you want to take a character to the next level that's underappreciated, underrated, and doesn't see light at the end of the tunnel, you give it to Jeff Johns, and he'll make sure that he's out of that tunnel. As for artists, I have to go with Johnny Lindsay, like the current artist on there. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about the way it's drawn that it just that's Superboy to me. Like, you could look back in the past and say, yeah, this is your prime, Superboy at that point. He reinvented this character to me. He still had the same aspects, but just made it a little bit better.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, I've got to go with Jeff Johns too for writer. Like Jamie said, if there's an underused character that has tremendous potential, no one is going to pull it out of them better than Jeff Johns will. And even though the character had been maturing a bit over the years, he was the one that really took him into that next step where he started growing into his role of, eventually becoming the next Superman. Though I will give a very high honorable mention to Peter David for what he did for Young Justice, because that entire series was just so phenomenal. Awesome. And then for artist, I couldn't choose one. I had to have a tie between Todd Nauck and Tom Grummett, because I really like Grummett the way he has that like classic superhero art style, because he'd been drawing Superman before was part of the Death of Superman thing, and drew him afterwards too. So he had that classic style, but like Todd Nauck's just got that like really super energetic, fun, action-oriented style, which really suited the character when he was doing Young Justice. So
nice.
What about you, Sal? Who do you have for a writer and artist?
Okay, so for writer, I had to lean towards Scott Lobel. I mean, I just love his work. He's got good work. And
that was a hard one for me too, man. Like
Lobel, so many good ones for him.
Yeah. And I also like Marv Wolfman. I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those. So I had to lean towards Scott on that one. And now for artists, I really had a tie. I have Tom Grummett and I got Carl Kessel, Dan's favorite. I love this guy's artwork, so I can't fault him, and I got to give him tie in first place on those. Sorry. I know we tried to do just one, but I just couldn't do it this time. Couldn't do it.
I love the ties because it makes me just feel like it gives you that idea of like, if you just took the two people and merged them together and made one super artist or super writer, like that would be perfect. But I don't know. If I have to only go with one, it's always a flip of a coin for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I feel the same way. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to say, like I said, I mean, there's been so many good writers that have had, long runs on Superboy, not just like wrote him for an issue or two, but Carl Kessel, Jeff Johns, Peter David, Scott Lobdell, like Lemire, like all these really good writers have had good solid long runs with him.
I agree. So honestly, folks, you can't go wrong with any of these artists and authors. They really do produce good stories and good artwork. And when it matches and it meshes well, it's an excellent product. I can't really say much more about that. So, guys, I think this wraps us up for Comic Character of the Week. Once again, I am Sal the Slab Guy. You can always find me on the Codex Station, or you can find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner. And I'm also on Instagram under the Slab Guy 77. Thank you, Dan. And now down below me, we got Dan the Man Kelly. Where can they find you at?
Yeah, find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art, and go give me a follow. Go like some stuff, and I just want to say I just hit 600 followers on there. Thank you to everybody that has helped me reach that, and I've even continued to grow. I think I'm at 608 or 609 now. So thank you to everyone. I never would have thought that I would have gotten that many, and continue to keep growing. So like I've said before, for everyone out there, it's just a little click of a mouse to follow, to like, to subscribe. But it means so much to us, for me, for Sal, for Jamie on Codex. Like, it makes all the work that we put in for everything totally worth it. So, thank you to everyone out there for your support.
Definitely.
And I'm going to kick it up to the boss man up there.
Hey, you pointed at me right this time.
Yeah.
Mr. Bandana himself.
Yes. The one that got kicked out of Aerosmith. But yeah, you guys know what I'm about to say. Guys, go check out the CodexStation.com. It's your one-stop shop for everything Codex. When I say this, I mean get some merch, meet the team, let us know what you like and don't like. Look at Sale just sporting it. Which, by the way, there are going to be new products coming out very, very soon. I'm just
Ooh,
finalizing
shucks.
some details right now as far as merch goes. But guys, the best part is at the very bottom of the website is all of our socials, and you have no reason not to follow us on any of them and miss the content that we're putting out for you, because it's all right there. So definitely
Right.
go do that. If you do enjoy this content that we're putting out for you, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that follow button. Like Dan said, it might seem like just a click for you guys, but for us, it's everything.
Yeah,
And
right.
it goes to show what effort we're putting into week in, week out for this.
Definitely. And Jamie, aren't we streaming on our new product tonight?
Yes, we are. We are currently streaming on Kick. And for those who have been watching, thank you so much for joining us for the very first time. For those that have been with us since the beginning, thank you as well. And you go over to Kick. Go check it out. It's pretty cool so far.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys next time. And I hope you guys, both of you, have a 9.8 day.
Yeah, and we'll all see you in the next one.